Hi Robert, I'm Eyal Meron, the CEO and co-founder of SphereX. You can also visit our website, SphereX, SPHEREX.xyz.
Thanks for joining us, Meron. Let's get to it. What is SphereX?
Well, SphereX is an embedded security and compliance solution for smart contracts. It is embedded into the project and reverts malicious transaction and enforce cyber policy or compliance policy, make sure that the project can operate with no harm, no damage.
What are the most significant trends in fintech identity and security that you're currently excited about?
Well, there are a lot of trends, but I come from cybersecurity background, so I would address this issue. And I think that there's a continuous learning competition, learning contest between the attackers and the defenders, and the ability to harness artificial intelligence to the side of the defender in order to early detect and prevent attacks or any kind of fraud is definitely one of the most significant boosts that we can do for the side of the defenders. And I think that will keep on evolving and make sure that we are more protected in everything that we do.
What is your vision for the future of Web3, and how does SphereX contribute to its democratization and security?
Okay, so first of all, my vision for Web3 is actually what I think we see now as kind of convergence wave between the blockchain world and the traditional economy. The most trivial expression of that is the real-world asset tokenization, but it's only the beginning, right? It's about something that is actually bigger, and I think that we can look at that convergence or the Web3 that actually changing everything as kind of building blocks in the digital transformation of humanity. So that will affect anyone and change the way economy works. And in that context, I think that in order to enable the realization of the potential, it is necessary to bring the security to the next level. Because if you look at the security of Web3 today, it's far from being sufficient. Just to give you some numbers for comparison, if we look at the cyber direct damage to American banks as a percentage of the total asset of the assets under management of all American banks, and you compare it to the cyber damage as a percentage of DeFi ecosystem, you get a ratio of 1 to 400. It's crazy. And since those are the numbers, while this situation is not being changed, it cannot allow any stable financial system today, so that thing must be changed. And that is what SphereX is after. SphereX allows a substantial reduction of the risk to a level that allows normal activity and stable ecosystem.
How does SphereX technologies leverage machine learning and behavioral analysis to enhance smart contract security?
Okay, perfect question. First of all, today the security market, or the security landscape for smart contracts, is comprised of pre-deployment audits and sometimes also post-deployment monitoring of threat detection capabilities. But it's mainly based on audits. And audit is not enough. Audit is a manual code review. It's important, it's mandatory, and it's definitely not enough. That's why we see so many hacks. Monitoring is too late, not to say post-mortem. So there's a huge missing piece in the puzzle, a huge gap. SphereX is a prevention solution against exploits, hacks, any kind of even compliance risk, and it is embedded into the smart contract and prevents the damage to begin with while maintaining the continuity of the protocol of the project. They are looking for a crack in the code, an edge case that was not inspected during the audit cycle, kind of like a crack or loophole, and that allows them to use the code in a new illegitimate way. What SphereX does is preventing new edge cases by machine learning and analyzing the behavior of the legitimate users, and then hardening the contract on-chain according to this behavior. So basically, it's a model or a set of patterns of legit behaviors, permissive behaviors, that were extracted by learning the legit transactions of that contract and then uploaded on-chain and enforced. And to do so, we actually using different algorithms, including machine learning.
How do you see the role of decentralized finance evolving, and what impact will SphereX have on this space?
Okay, so as mentioned, I think that the future of DeFi and the ecosystem is the convergence. But I think that in order that to actually happen, we need to gain the trust of the users. It cannot stay a space for gamblers. It must be relevant for the masses by gaining their trust. And in order to do that, we must have effective security capabilities, and this is what SphereX is actually doing. This is our mission, our vision, to provide security that will be translated into the trust of the mainstream.
I'm going to ask you a couple of general questions,
Sure.
But you can tie them back to SphereX however you see fit. Can you share your perspective on the most significant developments in the blockchain space over the past year?
Yeah, sure. I think a part of the tokenization of real-world assets that I mentioned, and of course the progress in security, I think that the scalability is about to be almost solved. It was a huge issue, scalability and the performance of blockchains until I think 2022. And when we see now all the new blockchains and layer 2s, I think that it's actually great news, and the scalability is no longer a substantial barrier to the adoption of blockchain to a lot of use cases and wide adoption.
How do you see the role of traditional financial institutions evolving with the rise of decentralized finance and blockchain technologies?
Well, first of all, I think that there will be the access point for the users into the space, because there are a lot of new use cases and a lot of new capabilities that you want to allow the mainstream to use and to benefit from, but you need the access points. Traditional organizations or banks would be the access point for many of the people. And second, they themselves will leverage this technology for more efficiency or new use cases so they can improve the business of their own.
What do you see as the biggest challenges facing the adoption of blockchain technology, and how can the industry overcome them?
Well, in my opinion, it's all about security and regulation. And as mentioned, first of all, I think that security is about to be in a much better position soon. If you look at the project owners today, even if I'm talking only about the DeFi ecosystem, so many of them think that if they're already deployed and out there and didn't get hacked, so they are protected, which is actually not true, because only when you gain traction, then you also attract the intention of the hackers, and then you get yourself in higher risk. So the fact that you haven't been hacked before doesn't mean anything. And so it's kind of like maturity of the market, right? When you look at the ecosystem now, I think that more and more builders and more project owners understand the responsibility, understand that the situation is something that they must adapt new, innovative and superior security solutions. So the market become to be much more mature, and it's good news for the security side. The other side is, of course, regulation, and again, I'm not an expert in regulation, but you can see that in APAC, there are a lot of regulatory frameworks that allow traditional organizations to enter the space. We see what is happening in Europe with MICA, and the States will be there soon. So I think that regulatory frameworks are moving forward and progressing and will provide the clarity that we all need.
How do you envision the future of Web3, and what impact do you think it will have on the internet as we know it?
Well, I think in a way, the Web3 becomes the internet of value and the internet of digital ownership, when the internet today is kind of like still the internet of content and internet of social interactions. So it's kind of like, I don't know, maybe the cell phone and then the smartphone, right? It's not just an extra capability that is being added to what is already exists. There are new capabilities that provide different use and new use cases for the old world. So when you take the current existing internet, again, of interactions, content, information, data, and you add ownership and value that can move from place to place in no time and abroad, you get new potential that we can still far from being able to imagine what are the use cases that will evolve on that potential.
What advice would you give to new entrepreneurs entering the blockchain and crypto space today?
First of all, think about security from day one. This is the most important thing, but in generally speaking, I think that it's a journey that you need to come in the mindset of, I come to contribute, and I must have the meaning and the vision. Don't look for quick wins. There are no quick wins. If you want to do something substantial, come to a journey to contribute, have a vision, believe in the meaning of what you say, what you do, and security from day one.
Thank you. That was quite insightful. Really appreciate it. If there's anything that I didn't ask and you would have liked me to ask, or you just want to share, feel free.
No, I was very happy to share my thoughts and my insights, and I really believe that we are. It's not just a cycle of bear market that moved into a bull cycle. I think what we witnessed today is something completely different. I think that the convergence of TradeFi and DeFi and everything that we now witness is a revolution. It's not a cycle; it's a revolution.